Airdrie was voted #1 on Area Vibes for the livability rate of all cities in Alberta.
We're going to take a closer look at the cost of living here in Airdrie, Alberta, and compare it against New Westminster in BC.
Let's take a look at the cost of living and the quality of life of Airdrie, Alberta compared to New Westminster, BC. If we look here on Airdrie Vibes, we can see a difference here. There's a few exceptions where New Westminster is at par with Airdrie, but for the most part, we are seeing that Airdrie has a higher ranking.
All right, let's talk the cost of housing here in Airdrie. So we'll start off with rentals. So according to Zumper, the average two-bedroom place here in Airdrie rents for $1,844 a month. When we compare it to New Westminster, their renting for two bedrooms is $2,952. So a bit of a difference. I know in the last couple of years, the rental market here in Airdrie has lit up, and so prices have increased. Look at the average sold prices here in Airdrie. For a detached home, we're looking at approximately $612,000. When we're looking at semi-detached, we're looking at $404,000. And when we're looking at condos, you can get a condo for, on average, about $238,000. Now, compare that to New Westminster. A detached home is going for $1.4 million. A semi-detached is going for $858,000. And a condo is going for $625,000. Now, while conditions remain tight here in Airdrie, we are seeing from January of 2023 to January of 2024, we have seen a 10% increase in the average benchmark price. That's pretty substantial, and we will most likely see that increase again this year as the market stays tight and there's lower listing counts and more buyers out on the market.
Utility rates. Now, this is a big conversation. The best thing I could suggest for you to do is go on to these websites and just pop in how much you're actually using. Look at it, say, oh, my household is using this many kilowatts. Look at it. Let's go on to one of the providers that are in Alberta. Let's go on. You'll be able to compare the two. Is it that much more or is it not? In Alberta, there's different fees. It's not just your electricity rate. You have to count in the distribution fees, the admin fees, and those can change different fees. It's not just your they'll provide a link down below giving you the government of Alberta's comparison tool that you can do, and it'll tell you what rates the providers are providing inside of Alberta, because there is multiple choices to choose as there is private providers here. It's not government run. Another bill to consider, water and sewer here in Airdrie, Alberta. So a great thing to do is just to go on to the Town of Airdrie website and it'll provide you with all of that great information. Again, we will leave the links below so you can research it too.
All right, let's talk the cost of transit here in Airdrie. So the way transit works here in Airdrie is that the price is based upon the type of transit that you're going to be taking. So there's a local service and then a Hello to Go. And then there's also a Route 900s, which is taking you to Calgary. So based on that, a single ride one-way ticket is going to cost you anywhere between $2.90 to $7.70. When we're comparing it to New West, the way it works there, it's all based on zones. So there's zone 1, 2, and 3. And depending on which zones you're traveling to and from, in and out of, it'll be dependent on your pricing. So there, the average ride is about $2.10 all the way up to $6.20. So Alberta also sees some of the lowest gas prices in all of Canada. So based on Gas Buddy data, Alberta was number 2 when it comes to the lowest priced in this past year, where BC is at number 9. So it's good to know that Alberta is part of the federal carbon tax. So here you're going to currently pay 9 cents a litre, where if you're comparing it to Vancouver area and BC, you're looking at 27 cents per litre, hence the variance in gas prices.
All right, the cost of taxes. So one great thing that you're going to notice right away is that we have the lowest taxes within Canada. And it's great when you're going out shopping, you will notice that difference, that there is no PST or the HST charge. You'll also see that we have the highest personal basic tax amount here in Canada as well. Alberta actually pays one of the lowest taxes on your fuel cost, which is wonderful. Now, when we look at the property taxes within Airdrie, Alberta, you will notice that Airdrie actually has one of the lower property tax rates within Alberta. The other thing to note about Alberta is there is no land transfer fee tax. So that right there also is a great savings for many Albertans.
All right, so based on Area Vibes website, groceries here in Airdrie are typically lower than the national average, between 2.5 to 11.3% lower, except when it comes to meat. Meat, we're about 0.7% higher. Now, when compared to New Westminster, they're also typically lower than the national average, running between 4.5 to 8.7% lower, except when it comes to the meat, which is 3.7% higher, and alcoholic beverages, which is 4.9% higher. What do I get out of that? It pays to be a vegetarian or a vegan here in Airdrie.
All right, let's talk about the cost of healthcare in Airdrie, Alberta. As you can see here, Alberta health insurance is actually covered by our province. And when you look at New Westminster, BC offers the same service.
So let's talk the cost of childcare in Airdrie. So in Airdrie, what we'll find is that it is privatized, and so rates can change monthly between each facility. We do have the $10 a day daycare, but not every facility participates, so you have to check out their website to see which ones do. We also have grants and subsidies that you can apply for, and usually they're directly through a licensed facility. They will apply for you and it'll come off, but not all the time. If you're signing up for preschool, it's good to know that we have a $125 flat subsidy rate for everyone across the board. But other than that, for the other subsidy that the Alberta government gives, it's actually prorated depending on what you make annually in your income. When it comes to comparing it to British Columbia, they also have the $10 a day daycare. But based on the Go Daycare website, you're going to pay on average for a licensed childcare facility in New West about $845 to $995, where in Airdrie, you're actually going to pay between $591 to $850, depending on the facility and full-time, part-time.
Okay, the cost of employment for Airdrie, Alberta. Let's look at Area Vibes and let's go through what they're showing us. Okay, when we're looking at the median household income between the two cities, we can see that Airdrie does have a higher amount that is coming within the households on average. We're looking at just over $104,000 for Airdrie, Alberta, while New Westminster, British Columbia is coming in at just over $79,000. So there is a difference between the two households. Also going to compare the amount in the labor force, Airdrie again has more inside the Airdrie force, sitting at 76.9%, while New Westminster is sitting at about approximately 69.8%.
So let's talk insurance here in Alberta. It's good to note that we are privatized. So car and home insurance is privatized. So rates vary from company to company. Based on the Canada Drives website, they're saying that Alberta is number 3 for the highest insurance premiums when it comes to auto insurance. BC and Ontario come in higher than Alberta, but we are number 3. It's also good to note that the previous provincial government had a cap on the insurance increases up to 5%. That's no longer happening in Alberta. So we are seeing an increase year over year in our insurance premiums for automobile. If you're wondering what it would cost for insurance here in Alberta, there's actually a website you can go to and punch in your details and get a rough estimate of what you would pay. I'll put a link below. It's through the Alberta Automobile Insurance Rate. So for home insurance here in Alberta, based on Rate Hub's website, home insurance will run you about $1,000 a month, compared to BC, which is $924 a month, and Ontario, which is at $1,250 a month. So there's many factors that contribute to your cost of insurance, and it can be right down to a sump pump, where it's located, size of the home, replacement costs, and all of that. But it is good to know that you should shop around when looking for home and auto insurance, and typically when you bundle the two together, you get a discounted rate. So I know that when I was shopping around, I found that Costco was the best insurance for me. They were through Intact. So shop around when looking for home or auto insurance.
Thanks for watching, and if you like what you're seeing, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when we release our new videos.
Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, we're always happy to chat. See you around town.